Hey. Hey.
Hey, we're out of the basement.
How are you? How was your trip to the basement?
Delightful.
I kind of run shit down there, so I didn't mind it.
It was like going to like the Beetlejuice world.
Yeah, it was.
The underworld. What do they call that place?
Was it just the afterlife? I don't know. I was disappointed in the lack of Winona Ryder, but she's upstairs on the daddy list. So I was down there. It was like Beetlejuice world without her, what's the point?
The shrink heads, the shrinkies,
Mm-hmm.
the shrinkers. What do they call the shrinkers? That's what it is.
Is it? That's what Bob is?
The shrinker, yeah.
I love Bob.
I know.
I could fix him. You love him.
Anyways.
So if you're still here, we're grateful after whatever the that last episode was.
Oh, no.
Should we erase those memories and get into some hometown heroes?
Yeah, we got some hometown heroes, which are great. Some real bangers.
Written by you, for you.
Read by us.
Read by us. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Welcome to Disrespectfully
with Katie Maloney
and Dana Cathan.
Unapologetically,
We're here to do what we want to do.
spilling the tea.
Babe, you're going to see the power of women. Like,
Disrespectfully.
Dee says, "Hey girlies, proud to call myself a day one listener and always been sad I haven't had a story to write in until it dawned on me last week when I listened to the Klaus waterslide shitstorm. 12 years ago, my best friend and I decided to do a classic Southeast Asia backpacking trip starting in Bangkok. After flying from Canada, we check into our 4-bed hostel room and met an Irish dude that promptly invited us to a rooftop party at the hostel that night. Have you ever stayed in a hostel?
I've stayed in like something that was like, it was like a hostel that was like more so like a hotel. It was like a Best Western hostel, but no, me and my friend had our own like room, but it was like sort of.
Well, I've seen all the hostel movies and that was enough for me.
Yeah.
So no, I have not done that. But my friend and I were still pretty jet lagged, so we didn't go. But late at night, Mr. Irish brings a girl back to the room and starts loudly fucking her in the bunk beds across from us. Keep in mind, there's also a German dude trying to sleep in the top bunk above the banging. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I wonder what the rules of engagement are. Like, what's courtesy? I bet not doing this. I bet this is frowned upon in a hostel.
Yeah, I think it's just decency, decorum, like just hello.
This sounds disgusting. Oh my God. This sounds disgusting and loud, but the three of us just grit our teeth and wait for it to be over. The couple sounded extremely intoxicated and it lasted forever, but did end eventually. 5 minutes after, the girl he was banging starts moaning, and then we just hear the most vile shitting sounds I've ever heard in my life. Like a lot of shit. It smells disgusting.
What?
The Irish dude starts freaking out and yelling, "Oh my God, you shit on me, you shit on me." And the German dude hops down from the top bunk and is basically like, "F this, I'm out." We want to follow suit, but the couple is so drunk, neither of them can move. They're stuck in the shit bed. We're yelling at her like, "Girl, you gotta go." And she tries to get up, but she's falling around the room, getting shit everywhere, and so we are trapped. I am so sorry that this is the first story that we're reading to you guys. I guess we should have done like we really are. I think we're back in the basement, but gonna keep going with it. She's trying to leave, but there's a button you have to press to unlock the door, and she can't find it. Finally, my friend gets up and presses the button,
like
and she gets
room?
out. Well, also, is she just like I'm picturing her like slipping on a banana peel, like old style 1920s dancing. She's like a flapper
like
with
Charlie
shit.
Chaplin.
Yeah, literally. My friend and I start frantically grabbing. We got our juices back, which is great. We're back in the flow. I can feel
Should
it
we
now.
go back and re-record?
Oh my God. My friend and I start frantically grabbing our valuables to get the fuck out, and the girl casually walks back in, still covered in shit. She's spread it all over the hostel and is on another planet with no clue what's going on. We end up ditching our stuff and just running out of the room to tell reception what's happening. The workers at the hostel had to come into the room, pick the girl up to put her in the shower themselves. Oh, those poor employees. My friend and I and the German try to sleep in the lobby, but we're all reeling, so we mostly just sit in silence. Then the drunk girl, freshly showered and reclothed, comes waltzing into the lobby, still having no idea what happened. She's slurring and asking the reception, who had just bathed her, if she has a room and where is it. The German dude did tell us that the Irish guy had been really force feeding her alcohol all night, which I thought was super sus. So I hope he learned his lesson in thinking intoxication equals consent, because clearly she was not capable of making that decision and he was left with the shitty consequences. Very true. Traumatized, we almost flew back that day, but decided to stick it out and ended up getting into a lot more shenanigans over the following months. You both would have been proud. Love you. Well, shit. I love your point about consent because that's so true. If also that to me is bordering on you have like severe alcohol poisoning and she's lucky she didn't need to go to the hospital or something. Like, if you're literally losing control of your bowels, things have gone too far.
Way too far.
Oh, that is such a bummer. For everyone involved except for the guy who got her
did
drunk.
they like put you in a new room? Like I'm surprised. That is a health hazard.
Yeah.
You cannot be exposed to human fecal matter or any kind of fecal matter like in that kind of way. Like that it's not good.
That's so upsetting. I wonder if it was their first ever hostel experience. Like, imagine. Anywho, well,
Yikes.
sorry you went through that. Love you so much.
Yuck.
Yuck.
Anyways, hopefully this is a palate cleanser.
Oh, Christ.
Let's find out. Anonymous says, "Hi, Dana and Katie. I'm not a day one listener, but close to it. I love both of your unapologetic take on things and aspire to get to that point one day. I'm working on it. I'm not sure if this qualifies as a hometown hero, but here it goes. Recently, Dana advised to someone to leave their cheating dirtbag significant other and not say a word and let that be the conversation they have. About 2 years ago, I finally got to a point of wanting to leave my emotionally and mentally abusive ex. The catalyst for me leaving was when he was screaming 2 inches from my face with his fist in the air, acting like he was going to hit me. Jesus. So far.
Really uplifting. Really doing here. This is us problem, not you. But also that is domestic abuse, even if someone doesn't physically touch you when they try to intimidate you like that and make you feel like they're going to hit you.
Intimidation.
So I'm really glad you left this person.
Yes.
It always escalates.
Yeah. This is just a small glimpse of what was my life for 5 years. I should have left after either one of my miscarriages when he accused me of cheating, getting pregnant on purpose to trap him, or when he told me I was an inconvenience for him not being able to work overtime to take me to the hospital for a DNC because I couldn't wait any longer for my actual miscarriage to happen. Jesus Christ.
Guy sounds like a real winner.
I moved across the country for this man, leaving everything I knew behind. So running to a family or friend's house was not a short-term option until I found somewhere to live. I called my best friend of 22 years, sobbing, telling her what happened that morning. She urged me to leave and help me look for places online. When I finally found a place to move, I didn't have enough strength to do it alone. I told my best friend I wasn't sure if I could do it, and she said, I got you. I'll be there the day before your move-in date. She drove 16 hours to get to me to help me move in. She's the true hero of the story. The day I left, he had no idea or that my best friend was in town. He was clueless. He went to work, and I pretended to leave for work. I went and picked her up and headed back to my old house to begin the process. We packed up all of my clothes and furniture in less than 2 hours. Gee, damn. He came home to an empty house, and all I got from him was a text that said, "You're just going to leave and not say anything?" Other things were said. Looking back, I wish I could have seen the look of shock on his face that I had left without giving him any inclination that I was leaving. I share this to hopefully give other women or men some strength to leave a horrible situation and to know it's so satisfying to leave and not saying a word. And to also start therapy. It helps so much. Thank you for taking the time to read a small part of my story. I love you both.
Okay, first of all, we're so proud of you for leaving that situation. And again, if something like that is happening in your relationship, it's not normal. And I know it's hard to leave and there's a reason people stay, but that behavior typically does escalate. So it's going nowhere good. So I'm so glad you got out when you did. And also shout out to your friend. Those are the best kind of friends that will just show up for you and not even think anything of it. She drove 16 hours and you're both home. That's absolutely a hometown hero.
That is the ultimate hero story. You're a hero, she's a hero, and super proud of you because, you know, when you do something like that, it builds like so much confidence and builds your self-worth up immensely. So
your ex is a loser.
100%. Fall is here, and that means cozy nights in, wrapped in a blanket, maybe with a movie or a book. And let me tell you, the only thing that makes those moments better,
a bottle of wine.
A perfect bottle of wine.
Is it a bottle of wine?
I knew it. It's always a bottle of wine. And that's why First Leaf has been my go-to for all my fall wine needs.
Same here. First Leaf is a personalized wine club that somehow knows exactly what I like. Every month, they send me a selection of wines that are perfectly tailored to my tastes, which honestly makes me feel like I'm becoming a wine expert. I mean, I've been working on it for like 15 years.
And the best part, it's so easy to get started. So easy to drink wine too. I answered a few quick questions on their website about my wine preferences. And within days, I had an amazing assortment of wines delivered straight to my door. My last box had this incredible Cabernet that paired perfectly with a hearty fall stew I made last weekend.
That sounds perfect.
I cooked.
I do. I know. I do little in the stew, little in me, little in the stew, little down my throat.
Some for you, some for me.
Some for the stew, some for me. That's what we do.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Okay. Look, it sounds perfect. I just tried the most delicious Chardonnay from my first leaf box, and it was crisp, a little buttery, and paired so well with a cozy fall evening at home, which, every evening at home for me. And if you ever get a bottle you're not crazy about, which obviously does not happen for us, First Leaf has a 100% satisfaction guarantee, so there's no risk.
Love to hear that. Plus, I love how flexible they are with delivery. I can choose when my wines arrive, so I never miss a shipment. It's honestly been a game changer for stocking up on wine for my fall nights in.
If you want to get cozy with the perfect wine this fall, head over to tryfirstleaf.com/disrespectfully to get your first 6 handpicked bottles for just $44.95. That's tryfirstleaf.com/disrespectfully. Look, I love a great deal as much as the next person, but I'm not about to, rake an entire yard of leaves just to save a few bucks. It's got to be easy, no hoops, no hassle. Imagine me raking leaves. So when Mint Mobile said I could get wireless for just $15 a month with the purchase of a 3-month plan, I thought, okay, where's the catch though? Turns out it really is that simple.
Same here. I thought there was no way switching would be that easy, but the hardest part, sitting on a hold to break up with my old provider. Once I was free, getting started with Mint Mobile was a breeze. I hopped onto their website, signed up, and activated my service all in like no time.
No time flat.
No time.
All I did was go to mintmobile.com/disrespectfully, and right there, you'll see their 3-month plans are just $15 a month, even the unlimited plan. And here's the kicker. Everything comes with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text, all on the nation's largest 5G network.
And the best part?
Tell me.
You can bring your old phone and your number. So all your contacts, texts, and embarrassing photos, they stay with you. No stress, just savings.
They do stay with me.
They do.
During scary hours.
Yeah.
Seriously, switching was easier than I expected. If you're tired of paying too much for your wireless service, go check them out. You can get 3 months of premium wireless service for just $15 a month. No leaves necessary.
To grab this awesome deal, go to mintmobile.com/disrespectfully. That's mintmobile.com/disrespectfully. Cut your wireless bill down to just $15 a month.
Save yourself some cash before the holidays hit. That's mintmobile.com/disrespectfully. Disclaimer, $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on the first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on the unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. Anonymous says, oh, hi. Love you girls to the point where I would consider leaving my husband for one of you or both. Love. During a recent episode, you all got to talking about fake IDs. I never got caught by or had it taken at the bar, but my grand scheme almost didn't come to fruition. My older sister was studying for a summer in college. She had just turned 21 and couldn't wait to take advantage. We look similar enough, but her signature is beautiful and I could never replicate it. Bars in our area were known for asking all of your ID info. This is what we were talking about before. Like, that's how the ones that sometimes they would make you write the signature. So crazy. But asking you to sign your name so they could signature match it. Tricky. Knowing I would never be able to pull that off, I decided to take a different route. I gathered 3 forms of ID and headed to my local Secretary of State. I put on my best innocent eyes and told the lady working that my purse had been stolen and I needed a new license. Sure thing, sweetie, she replied and proceeded to look me up in their system. Except it wasn't me, because I had brought in my sister's documents and given them her name. When all was said and done, they had retaken my picture and had me re-sign for the ID signature, my sister's ID. I'm guessing this is anonymous because I'm quite sure that this is a felony in a big way.
Yeah.
This is very illegal, so we don't.
This is
fraud. So yeah, it's
stealing an identity is not
identity theft and fraud. Fast forward a few weeks and it's meal time. Whoop, but not so fast. My mom beat me home that day. And of course, she's checking my sister's mail while she's away. And she can't quite figure out how they had messed up so badly that they had put my picture on my sister's license. Eek. Thank God she Thank God she had a friend over and they were already a bottle of wine deep. I ended up explaining what I had done and my mom's friend was so impressed and thrilled that she was like, well, damn, if she's gotten this far with it, just give her that ID, she said. I think this is obvious, but anon, please. I don't feel like going to jail. Thanks, Kay, love you, bye.
I mean,
Yeah, very, very legal.
that sounds like some like movie plot shit that like you just don't get away with it. Yeah, just give it to her. Okay.
They're like half a box of
I have a
Franzia.
question though. So if you're like, hey, I lost my ID and they give you a new one, doesn't that like make your other ID invalid?
Well, technically, no. So if you need to get a new one, but you have it, they punch it. So then that's how you know it's invalid. But just by looking at it, unless someone was like looking it up in a system, you could technically say like I lost my ID and still have it. I had something like that happen once, but it was an accident. I found it later, so I ended up having two licenses, but because I did lose it, but I found it in my car somewhere.
And
so
they were both still valid?
Yeah, I think that you're not supposed to have them, but I was like, what am I going to do? Make an appointment to get it punched?
I think you should. I think when you get an ID, they should give you two.
Yeah.
Like you get two insurance cards.
Yeah. No, it's ridiculous.
Like why do you need two of those? But you don't get two IDs, so when you lose one of those? Anyway.
But that's the commitment to that plan that was just like, you really went full tilt. And also I'm wondering, did you tell your sister you were doing this? Because like my sister used to punch me in the mouth if I stole her denim jacket. We got in a huge fight. I remember the J brand incident of 2012. Huge fight about me stealing her denim jacket. And I'm like, if I stole her identity, she'd be so mad.
No kidding.
I also have the handwriting of a serial killer, so I relate to that in a way too. Because
oh no, same. I was recently talking about how my signature, I've got like a dad signature, you know, and like, what does that mean? I'm like, it's like scribble. It's like I can get like the K is like the only thing that is like, and maybe the M, and then it's just like.
Yeah, my handwriting is famously scary. There's nothing. Someone asked me the other day if I was left-handed as I was. I'm like, this is my fucking right hand. And they're like, oh, it looks like left-handed.
Yeah, when you have a hard time like reading your own penmanship, okay, I don't know. And my hand like cramps after like one sentence. I don't know. Like I think if you have really good handwriting, like that's such a flex.
That's daddy. Like it's a lost art, I would say. But
anyway, okay. Daniela says, hey girlies, I'm your biggest fan all the way from Peru. Cool. I started watching Vanderpump Rules and instantly loved Katie from the get-go. And when Dana joined later, I was absolutely obsessed. Well, thank you. I've got a funny and slightly sketchy story for you both about the time I snuck into a Coldplay concert for free and ended up in a police standoff. Buckle up because this is a long story. So I was working at this architecture firm and my boss, who clearly confused assistant with personal errand runner, asked me to spend hours online trying to score Coldplay tickets for her son. After a while, I thought, wait, I want to go too. But then the tickets were completely sold out. So my boyfriend and I had this genius idea. Why not just head to the stadium and buy tickets from a reseller outside? Well, when we get there, ticket prices were like 5 or 6 times higher than the original price. We were like, no thanks. We're not about to sell a kidney for Coldplay. But then we had an idea. And yeah, it's a bit sketchy. Our friends had tickets they already used, so we thought, what if we just tried reusing them to get in? I know, dumb, but desperate times, right? Naturally, that plan crashed and burned. But then this woman behind us goes, oh no, did you guys get counterfeit tickets too? She launched into this whole saga about how her family got scammed. And I'm just standing there thinking, I can't even admit to this lady that our tickets aren't counterfeit. They're just expired. But I play along and I'm like, yeah, bummer, right? One of the stadium organizers overheard our sob story and felt so bad that he told us to go check with the press booth for discounted tickets. At this point, I'm thinking, are we about to pull off the scam of the century? But then this girl at the booth was like, sorry, no tickets left. Total bust. We were about to call it quits when the assistant who had been eavesdropping the whole time sneaks up and taps me on the shoulder and whispers, meet me at the bodega in 30 minutes. My boyfriend and I look at each other like, what in the black market Coldplay world is happening? But we went. So when we meet this guy at the most suspicious looking bodega ever, he hands us 2 tickets saying, just give me whatever you have. We pooled our change, about $50, and boom, we were in. Not just in, but in the VIP section with paparazzi. The photographer even took a photo of us looking ridiculously happy. And I'm like, This moment is too good to be true. Spoiler, it was. The concert was amazing, but as we were leaving, things went downhill fast. In Peru, pickpocketing is like an Olympic sport, and I got taken out by a guy who literally fell on me. Fell. I'm standing there like, oh no, are you okay? Clearly he was not, but then it hit me. He wasn't clumsy, he was a thief. I frantically checked my jacket and yep, phone gone. My boyfriend, being all logical, says, hey, the police station's 2 blocks away. Let's file a report. And I'm like, yeah, right. The cops will care about my phone. But as we were walking, we realized something. The guy still had my phone turned on, so we could track him. Now, I know what you're thinking. Don't chase a criminal. It's dangerous. But my brain was like, this is my only phone. I'm not going to get stuck with a Nokia. Listen, Nokias.
Back in the day, were daddy.
But I still think today, like, they're durable. The charge on them would last forever. Snake.
That snake game.
Yeah. And then the way you could change the little, like, plates on the front of it.
Oh, I never had one. My sister's friend had one. I used to like when she'd come over, I'd be like, can I play Snake?
I know. I still have a Nokia.
I'm sure it still works. It's a relic.
I don't know. I don't have a charger for it.
No.
Anyways, okay. So we start chasing the guy down, and I'm asking random sketchy people, hey, do you have my phone? As if one of them say, why, yes, ma'am, here it is. Spoiler, they didn't. Then the phone's tracker led us to this bridge. I could literally see the dot moving toward me on the map, and I was ready to confront this guy like Liam Neeson in Taken. But then a policeman saw me losing it and asked if I needed help. He called in backup, and then suddenly the whole metro line was stopped. It was like a real life action movie, and I was loving every second of it. We spotted the guy, and everyone was chasing him. Me, the police, maybe even some confused bystanders. But here's where it gets wild. The dude gets to the end of the terminal, takes my phone, and chucks it over the bridge. And I'm standing there like, are you serious? Of course, the police couldn't do anything because he didn't have the phone on him. And just to rub it in, I watched my phone's location dot move from the middle of the road, then disappear. A car had probably run over it. RIP phone. So I slumped back to where my boyfriend was watching the whole thing unfold like a spectator at a soap opera. He just looked at me and I could tell he was thinking, you're insane, but I love you. Moral of the story, karma's real and it has zero chill. I lied and schemed my way into that Coldplay concert, and the universe was like, nah, sis, we're taking your phone as payment. As proof, the only picture that remains of the day posted in the newspaper by the paparazzi who was next to me at the concert, as I had not renewed my iCloud subscription. Okay, love you guys. Bye.
Oh my God. I also love that you sent in a photo. So going forward, if anyone has stories and you have a photo company, please send it in. I can't believe that that's how they got the phone, is by falling, like purposely like running into him and falling and stealing it.
Yeah, but you had the whole like team of people chasing the guy.
Well, also I get how you would be as you're watching that, would be like, are you kidding? But like smart on that guy's part. If you had drugs, you'd obviously
chuck
throw
it.
them. Yeah, chuck whatever.
Why don't you just chuck it back to the person?
Because then it's like, yo, so this is my phone. You did steal it. And it's like, what phone? I just threw my own phone.
I would chuck it at the person and run away. Well, if they get their phone back, then you don't, that's all they wanted was the phone. Why you throw it away?
Criminals, man.
I don't know. That was
They
funny.
don't have any integrity these days.
I liked the storytelling.
I did too. And also, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I don't think that was karma. I think God wanted you to go to that concert and you had a little bad luck.
Yeah,
You deserved
listen,
it.
if the pickpocketing is a problem, that could have happened anywhere.
Yeah.
But, oh well.
Well, that was an interesting mix of stories.
Yeah, it sure was.
Should we WWDD?
Let's WWDD.
Janice says, hey ladies, I'm a day one listener and look forward to listening every week. So excited to get 2 episodes. Wish it was every day. I love you guys and I so appreciate your office references. Well, we'll keep those coming. I'm looking for advice to give my 17-year-old daughter. She has a friend, let's call her Lucy, in her social circle that she just doesn't get along with. Lucy excludes her from activities and group chats, talks down to her, and makes her the butt of the jokes. When my daughter confronts her about it, the usual response is to gaslight my daughter and say she didn't realize what she did. This has happened over and over again. I feel like I'm not giving the best advice as a mom. I tell her to ignore her, not hang out with her, but this is easier said than done as they are in the same close friend circle, social clubs, and classes. I feel like this is taking up a lot of her energy. So I'm wondering how to deal with someone who is in your circle that you do not get along with, but you know you just have to deal with out of necessity. What advice can I give her? Disrespectfully, Janice.
Well,
What are you going to say?
no, I'm just like, I've practiced in this.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a really tough spot to be in because it's different, especially it's easier when you're an adult to get space from situations, but like I've run into this as an adult where there's friction in your friend group because one person is doing something and like it is difficult to deal with. So I think unfortunately the only thing that she can do is roll with the punches when it's happening and either call it out in the moment or go gray rock. Like literally do not give them the satisfaction. I know that it's again, all of this is easier said than done, but I think with someone like that, especially with kids or younger, teens, the best thing to do is literally act like you didn't hear it. Don't give them any reaction, nothing. Because that's what this person's feeding on. They're picking on her for whatever reason. They're just kids or dicks. And like, that's what they're looking for is that reaction.
Yeah. And I think because she's tried to confront her and, she just kind of gaslights her and acts like she doesn't know what she's talking about. And, I have no idea. What do you mean? So she's tried to do what she can and be reasonable and give her opportunities. And she doesn't want to. So at this point, I think, ignore her. Don't give her the satisfaction, acknowledge any of the things that she's doing, any of the jokes. I think, she already has. So she doesn't deserve that from her. And so because she does have to be around her, she doesn't really get the choice of just avoiding her completely. So I think at this point, just being completely oblivious to her behavior is the only thing that she can do. And I know that's, easier said than done because it can be obnoxious and hurtful, obviously, and maybe potentially embarrassing if she's making her the butt of jokes. But I think sooner than later, because of these people that this is what they do and they feed off of that kind of energy. And like when you're giving it back to them and they know that you're affecting them, if you don't give them that satisfaction, they don't keep doing it. Their behavior changes pretty quickly because they're only doing it for one reason.
Yeah. It's like bullies. They respond. That's how they harness their power. So the second you don't give it to them, then what are they going to do?
Yeah.
I mean, the only other thing, this is probably bad advice, so you tell me, but the only other thing I would say is like, eye for an eye, baby. Make her the butt of the joke. Start clowning on her ass. Probably don't tell your kid to do that, but I would do that.
I wouldn't even do that. I think the strongest choice, and like, I think this is going to be such a great like learning lesson and probably make her feel more powerful is to just ignore.
It's the harder thing, but the more effective
and
thing.
Honestly, and the thing that, because this is probably not going to be the first time because this is something that's going to happen in adult life. This, if you can just like learn to like ignore people when they behave this way, it's going to set her up for more success later in life.
I'll also remind her she's 17. The days are long, but the years are short. This will also, this person's likely not going to be in her circle forever, but like things change rapidly. But for the interim, I think we vote just gray rock.
Yep. I like that. Okay. Mar says, hello, ladies. Day one listener here. My bestie just moved across the country, but your pod gives us something fun to yap about on the weekly, despite the distance. Let me tell you, we are obsessed. I love that.
We're obsessed with you.
Bringing people closer. A quickish question. Last week, Dana mentioned Holly Madison on the pod. As a Gen Z girly, I have only just discovered The Girls Next Door. Binged all of it in a week. Oh, I love that. I forgot about that.
It's on Tubi for free. If anyone wants to watch it, it's Tubi. You don't even need an account. Like if you just download the app, if you have a smart TV, you can watch it. And I rewatched a bunch of it recently because of that. And it was one of the best reality shows. That and the Osbournes were like my fave.
The Osbournes need to stream some more. Okay.
So good.
I'm so curious about your thoughts about the show, especially in light of all the terrible stuff that's come out about Hugh Hefner Boo Basement. What did y'all think about the Holly/Crystal rivalry? Thoughts on Kendra? What was the public reception to the show and the girls when it aired? Would love to know since I never hear anyone talk about it. Keep slaying, especially the fits you both post on Instagram. They're criminally good, Mar. Because I haven't watched it in so long, I can't, it's not like fresh on my mind. But I mean, I definitely remember when it came out. I mean, especially during that time because it was, reality TV was so new that it wasn't overly saturated. It was still like this untapped sort of thing, but they were everywhere. They were hot. Yeah.
The lore of Playboy in general, people were so fascinated by that. And this basically polyamorous relationship and this,
So taboo.
old geezer. And
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot to say on this because I actually was falling asleep last night to Holly's book. So I go back and forth pretty much between.
I knew.
Oh, yeah. So I was like, Matthew, I can't do this anymore.
Sorry,
so
Matt.
I put Holly on. So I've listened to that book about 15 times. I think that her book, Down the Rabbit Hole, is very worth the listen or the read. It is really fascinating based on like how she ended up being in that situation and what really happened behind closed doors. I think that Hugh Hefner was really problematic. Crystal, who's the one that married Hugh Hefner until he died, she had originally left him, but then decided to marry him. She was the one that came in right after Holly left and the other two girls. I tend to believe her. I think it's like their side and the truth. I tend to believe what Holly's saying for various reasons. But I think Crystal was kind of always standoffish and she had tried to make her feel welcoming because they, the producers forced them to have some like scene interactions as Holly was leaving the show. Kendra, she talks about her in a way that I also believe, but isn't super, super kind, but then kind of gives her flowers where it's due and basically said when they were ending the show, it was genuine that they were all sad to leave them, like Holly, Bridget, and Kendra as a trio. And like, that's what was hard for her, not walking away from Hugh Hefner and like all the things that they had to go through. But then Kendra had her own show once that show ended.
Yeah.
And apparently one day she like put something out on Twitter and was like, we aren't friends, blah, blah, blah. And Holly was like, oh, I thought we were friends. And then she like freaked out on her and they haven't spoken since. So I don't know. I think Kendra, I only knew what was the perception that producers wanted people to see. So like they very much wanted it to look like Bridget was the career girl and Kendra was the dumb young blonde and Holly was the one that actually loved Hugh. But like the rules of that house were bizarre. Like they couldn't go out past 9 without him. They didn't have as much money as everyone thought they did. They got small allowances.
Yeah, they didn't have any. So when they would leave, they like left with like nothing essentially.
What was happening in the bedroom was a little disturbing for me. They would have like at one point there was 7 girlfriends and the first night that Holly slept with him was the first night they went out and she was very drunk. Like that would not be like she couldn't have given consent probably. And like I think she kind of feels that way about it now. But like,
do you think she wanted to be very drunk? Because
I think it was a combination of things. I think that she thought the first night that wasn't going to be happening. And then all of a sudden they would go out once a week. And after the go out was like the bedroom. He was a creature of habit. So like the same thing happened every week. So they would all just like go up there and get undressed. And she was like super drunk and they got in the bathtub to wash their club feet. And then all of a sudden she like comes out and everyone's naked. And it's just kind of like one after the other. And was just she was like, basically like there was nothing sexy about it, nothing intimate for the women. Right. And they all just wanted it to be over as soon as humanly possible. So yeah, it was, I think that it was groundbreaking, but I think there was a lot, people saw it as a very lighthearted, like fun show, but there was a lot of like grimy things going on in the background.
100%.
But yeah, I do love that book.
I need to revisit.
Honestly, I would love to meet Holly. Like
I like Holly.
I love Holly. I think she would be a great guest to have some time. Also to point out, I'm pretty sure that Hugh was in his 70s when Kendra joined and she was 19. There's just something in the way that people are like, oh, he's the original playboy. Look at him. He's decrepit and he has a, girlfriend that could be his granddaughter. I'm like, it's so weird and gross.
No. But I mean, like whose dreams is that? Like, I don't know. I mean, it's,
Well, Holly also talks about the nuances of that in the book of like, obviously all of them wanted something out of that.
Right.
And I think that Holly really did talk herself into loving him, like feeling like it was a real relationship. Yeah, I don't think if he had no money and wasn't Hugh Hefner that would be happening. So,
okay. Anyways, moving along.
Anonymous says, hi, pretty ladies. Love the podcast and the empowerment you give women. Last week, I was listening to one of your older podcasts and Dana said something so funny, I quite literally almost crashed my car. Were you heading to Target? I'm just kidding. Would have been worth it if there was a crash. Moving onwards, my boyfriend and I have been together for 4 years. About 2 years into the relationship, the topic of children came up. I do not desire for baby making, but he wants a family. At the time, he accepted that I did not want kids, although he would be hopeful for them and allotted to me possibly changing my mind in the future. 3 weeks ago, we were tipsy and he told me he needs a family and went off on why he needs one. I respect why men want a family. However, I have bipolar disorder with a history of mania and I'm afraid that would happen with a baby in the mix. as mania can happen postpartum. To add, I'm not into permanently changing my body, sharing attention of my partner, and the possible disappointment of him not being able to show up for me. I also have strong opinions where it comes to the entitlement men possess when they want a baby/babies, when there's basically no work involved for them to produce one. So I am pretty biased. Is the relationship doomed to fail? Will there be resentment for me on his end if I never change my mind about it? Where do I go from here? With love, XOXO.
Wow. I definitely agree with her when she said, the entitlement, when like they don't have to do a lot of work. They can literally at any age, decide like, oh yeah, and then they don't have to do any of that real work. And even and I'm sorry, and it's been proven the women do a lot of the heavy lifting. It's so rare that you see a lot of like men be super, super hands-on and, stay-at-home dads. I'm not saying it has to be that way, but like there's oftentimes not a lot of examples of it being very 50-50 in terms of taking care of children. Like
I think,
even from all the time.
Even from a biology standpoint, there's just certain things that only the mom can do. And so I do think there are instances when it's more 50-50, but that is the exception.
Yeah, so I'm curious when he's saying that, like when he was tipsy, he's talking about like he needs a family and why he needs it. Like, what were the reasons? If he like already accepted you and you having so many valid reasons as to like why you don't want to, which I completely understand. Whether family history of certain illnesses and just your own personal like agency of not wanting to like put your body through any of that, and then also having certain concerns of like a partner not being 50-50 with you because you've seen it. And so for him to be able to accept that, but then suddenly change his mind, and I understand like people can change their mind, or maybe they're not stop being truthful to who they are or with you. But I think that's why people like really need to know what they want prior to getting involved with somebody or being serious. Like, and you need to align on those things. But I don't want to say it's doomed to fail, but I think there needs to be a very like, not when you're anyone's tipsy, but just like a real like sit down, honest conversation about like what you both want. And if you can't align on it, that's a pretty serious thing. That's like the ultimate thing. Besides like money, whether you want a family or not, is like the next serious thing.
Yeah. And I'm also, first of all, very proud of you for the self-awareness you have about your concerns about it. And particularly around being bipolar. I have a history of pretty serious mental illness. So like that weighs on me. I also think about that. So I completely understand where you're coming from. It's like Katie said, it's not necessarily doomed to fail, but you both need to evaluate individually 100% what it is that you want. And I don't want you to change your mind if you feel pretty set in that way because someone is pressuring you. That will, I think we talked about this on our last episode, who will end up paying for that is the baby, not, you know what I mean? And I think at the end of the day, if you both are at an impasse because he really wants them and you decide you really don't, then yeah, it's something that you'll have to evaluate and go from there. But I don't know, maybe if you think about it more independently, you're like, maybe this is something I could be open to. I don't know, but I just don't want anyone to make a decision about having children because they're afraid to lose a partner.
Or afraid that they're going to resent them. I just think ultimately if it comes down to it, they're not going to be the right person for you if they're going to resent you for not wanting to have children.
Yeah. Yeah.
That seems pretty obvious.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, I wish you luck.
Don't crash your car.
No.
Go to Target and get a Frappuccino. Park that thing.
Okay. Anonymous says, hey, Katie and Dana. First things first, you gals don't give a fuck. Just the right amount. And for that, I look up to you.
I've never had anyone tell me that it's just the right amount of not giving a fuck. I love that.
Yeah. I love that.
Huge compliment.
That is one of the best compliments I've had. Okay. I tried to have that attitude at my place of work. that is just the place to have that.
Yeah, that sure is.
Yeah, exactly. Costco, but day to day as an employee, that place sucks. I fucking love Costco.
The best goddamn hot dogs.
$1.50.
$1.50.
Costco
beef.
Costco hot dog and drink. Oh my God.
Minced onions, the best pizza, the sundae, the ice cream bar with almonds on it.
Just all of it. But
chicken bake.
And then Costco just walking around.
You don't have a membership, do you?
I need to renew my membership.
You do, and then we should go do a day there because I haven't done Costco in so long, even just for the food court, which you used to be able to do without a membership, but I don't know if you can anymore.
Well, because like it was outside. Well, there's some that are outside. Anyways,
we'll get back to you guys about it. We'll let you know our Costco plans.
As an employee, but that place sucks. Being treated like I am below people sets me off on a different level, as it should. For example, people don't even unload their baskets of groceries and just relying on the workers to do it while standing there staring at us. Sick behavior. I've been with the company for almost 9 years and I'm 30 years old. I have worked at 3 different warehouses so far, and over time, the atmosphere gets worse and worse. Fake open door policy. What is a fake open?
Meaning, like, I'm guessing if you're having an issue that the door is always open for your
Oh, but
manager
it's not.
to let them know.
Okay. People messing up your schedule because they don't like you, etc. I don't leave because of all the great benefits and pay. $31 an hour to ring up groceries and $46 an hour on Sundays.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's really good.
My home life is great. I live with the most supportive boyfriend, and we now have an 8-month-old puppy that I've been wanting forever. Every shift, I look forward to coming home to get their love. My question is, should I leave for my overall happiness? I just can't think of anything else I want to do, especially for that pay and benefits. It is still not enough to buy a house nowadays, and that pisses me off even more. Please let me know what mindset I need to be in to be happy going into work instead of miserable and wanting to tell stupid people off all day. I'm surprised I haven't been fired yet. Thanks, ladies. You rock. Anonymous. That's so hard.
It's so hard. It's like,
Work sucks. I know.
Yeah, because it's like you're getting some benefits and great pay, but it's like still not enough to like really live the kind of quality life you like. But your home life, I think you should never sacrifice your happiness or settle just because there's aspects of it that are enjoyable and wonderful and there's some payoff. I think you should always take a risk on yourself to find something that's going to make you happy, even if it means having to take a couple steps back, maybe something that's going to pay slightly less. If it's not enough to be affording you everything you want, you might just have to make a little bit less in something that you're going to really, really enjoy. The same way, like when leaving an unhappy relationship, if it means being alone and not having those certain perks of it all, you're going to feel so much lighter and so much happier of a person not having to deal with bullshit. I think just cutting the bullshit from your life will just open yourself up to things that you don't even know could be possible.
yeah.
Personally,
I think actually, and I've historically heard that about Costco, that they have good pay and benefits, which is why people don't leave, and it's they have high employee retention. But I understand, like, unfortunately, at any job, there's going to be something you don't like. So it is, I think, just about weighing how unhappy you are. And I do want to preface, I do agree with what Katie's saying.
Yeah, well, grass isn't always greener, but
the only thing that I preface with that is because I spent so much of my life in financial scarcity, and that's what I was born into. There are many kinds of stress in life. Money stress is one of the biggest stresses.
Yeah.
So I would say there are other options out there, and there are other options. Yeah, maybe you do have to take a slight step back, but then evaluate with your partner. Like, hey, let's look at our finances. If I take this step, how is it going to affect us here? You're saying like you can't buy a house anyway. So then like maybe think independently and sit down with your partner and say, like, what are our financial goals in the next 5 years? Like, what is this going to look like? And I'm sure that you'll be able to come up with a plan for like looking at what jobs you would want to do that you feel comfortable with. But I'm just saying in general, like, I know it's hard when you just want to tell someone fuck you and walk out, but don't do that. Just
no.
What I would say is right now, just start coming up with a plan. Start looking at other places of work, things you might want to do.
Yeah.
And like,
I know you say that you don't know exactly what you want to do. So I would say a good place to start is to be like slightly delusional. If you could do like anything, what would that be? And then think about things that like kind of like match that energy. You know, like what would the day in a life of the most happy day look like, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then like there are things that like I think you could find that would fit into that mold a little bit.
Yeah.
So I would start with being a slightly delusional.
Yeah, I think be delulu and just start evaluating what else. I think you're getting to the end of your rope at this place.
Yeah.
And also you've been there for a long time. So you are a desirable candidate to other companies because you have such a solid history with a well-known company.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, any customer service is so hard. It's such a bitch. People are so awful and don't know how to treat people that work in that field. And so I get it. But
didn't I tell that story on the pod when I worked at a grocery store and that old lady had that explosion?
Yeah.
It's so hard. But we're rooting for you.
Yes.
And I think that you can and will find a balance of pay that supports your life, but also is something that makes you happier.
100%.
If you could do anything and money wasn't a factor, what would you do?
I feel like I'm doing it right now.
Okay, good. I do too, for the most part. This is a marine biologist, but I'm not going back to school. So
I mean, I always thought like it'd be fun. I don't know.
Honestly, what we're doing right now is my dream job. So like, I feel really lucky to do that. But marine biology for sure.
To be a teacher, to change people's lives, to impart wisdom.
To swim shark daily. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Did I read that or did you?
I read that.
I need to start eating more fucking fish oil because I literally am like, am I a guppy? Every time we switch one, I'm like, I don't know what's happening.
I read that as your turn.
Anonymous says, hi, ladies. I'm a longtime VPR fan and listen to the pod daily. I'm hoping you can help me navigate this messy situation I'm in. I made the tough decision to break up with my boyfriend of 3 years last year. Thankfully, we ended on good terms. We even managed to remain friendly with each other for a few weeks after the breakup. Eventually, we stopped talking because we both needed space. I dated a few other dudes post-breakup, but these relationships were pretty casual and none of them lasted longer than 3 months. I knew I wasn't ready for another serious relationship. A few weeks ago, I stupidly decided to reach out to my ex and asked him if he would be open to catching up as friends. At first, he was into the idea and asked if he could call me the next day. He then texted me an hour later saying that it would be inappropriate for us to speak since he has a new girlfriend. I told him I completely understood and respected his decision, and that was that. I then made the mistake of doing some digging, and it seems they've been together for a minute now. Oof. Now I'm questioning if he ever truly loved me, if he was able to replace me so quickly. I don't want him back, but knowing that he has fully moved on already is gutting me. Any advice on how to start the healing process? Love always, emo bitch. It's possible that I wrote this in. I've had this happen to me in a big way that was very, very painful, of a relationship that I ended because it was what was right. And we both knew we needed to break up, but he just wasn't going to do it. And so he started dating someone weeks later. And even if you know that you're supposed to break up and it was the right decision, it is really hard when another person moves on, even if you don't want them. It makes you question yourself. But like what I learned over time and what helped me heal was you just have to stop making it about you. It has nothing to do with you. Again, we're talking about being men apologists. I'm like, not all men, but guess what? A lot of men move on really quickly because they don't want to sit with the silence and the growth that has to happen and the pain that comes on with that. Like, it's just they're not capable, so they just plug someone else in. And maybe it's because it's their soulmate, or maybe it's because it was just easy and then they're distracted and they're in another relationship. In my life experience, not only mine personally, but watching my friends, that is usually the rule, not the exception, is that my girlfriends take time, they heal, they figure it out, and then the men in their lives just move on immediately. So as soon as you're able to decenter that thought, like it isn't you, and please also do not do any more digging. No texting, no looking at the Instagram, do not, out of sight, out of mind. Don't ask people about them. If people try to talk to you and tell you what's going on, just be like, actually, I don't want to, hear about it. You will start to feel better, and time heals all wounds.
Yeah. I don't think it, like, just because what they're doing now has any reflection on how they felt about you. Like everything is its own thing. So it's not like, oh, because he's with someone new now, that means they never loved you. That's not how those things work. So, and it's not, it has nothing to do with you. Everyone handles breakups in grieving process very differently. Men, women, and especially like men, they do have the tendency to just sort of like not deal with those complicated set of emotions and just sort of like just skirt right past them. But I've also seen like a lot of women do, like they just kind of transfer a lot. It's called transference, and they also don't. They just sort of go from one relationship right to the next. I mean, it happens with women too. Some people that is just how they operate. And again, has nothing to do with you. I'm wondering if like a part of you thought maybe you'd like get back together subconsciously. And so like you thought like, okay, well, they were still pining over you a little bit, and to find out that they're not, that they were able to catch feelings for somebody else, like that hurts a little bit. It's a little bit of an ego ding that, you had such strong feelings for someone, they had strong feelings for you, and now like they have feelings for somebody else, and you're like, hold on.
Totally.
What happened to your feelings for me? I get it. But like, I think for your healing process, you have to just let him live his life, and you just focus on your life, what the things that you want, how you want to fill your days, and who, like the kind of person you want to be with. And if you want to be with somebody, like the things that you've learned, what you didn't like, what are your, like, make lists of things that you want and that are going to make you happy. It's now time just to focus solely on you and not look in the rear view.
Yep.
That's my advice for healing. Anyways,
Agreed.
Madison says, hi ladies, love the pod and you both. I recently had a falling out with a close friend of 10 plus years. We moved in together, and by the end of the lease, things had gone sour. She took action towards ending the friendship, sending a text and then blocking me on everything. I'm talking Pinterest, LinkedIn, Depop, places I didn't even know you could block someone. Even though I didn't want to be friends with her anymore either, I think it bothers me that she beat me to it when I felt truly hurt and wronged by her. Although I ultimately believe the friendship ending was for the best, I don't feel as though I've been able to put the situation fully behind me. Not going to lie, a part of me craves revenge. So far, I've held off on enrolling her phone number for MAGA fundraising text, and I can't stop myself from dwelling on ways to make her life miserable or hoping things go wrong for her. You know how it goes. But I know these thoughts are holding me back from truly healing and moving on from the situation. How can I release negative feelings and thought patterns around the ending of this friendship, even though it was what I also wanted? Any advice? Disrespectfully, Madison. Ugh. I love
the craving of revenge.
Yeah.
Revenge cravings. They're stronger than my nicotine cravings sometimes, let me tell you.
No, I mean, because I get it. Like when somebody that you know, were friends with for so long and things just like fucking tank, and then they're like, bye-bye, you know, they just fucking remove all access, and you're like, no, hold on. No, but same.
No. You did me wrong. What are you talking about?
You're like, I had plans. I had these plans, and I was going to do it slightly different, and now I can't because, you know, and you want to exact your kind of like revenge, or just like how you wanted to, like, you know, you wanted your swan song, you know what I mean? You wanted to go out with, you know, this is remember me kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But also, you know, I get that. I know it's just like that, like the petty bitch in you just like really comes alive, and you're just like, but I think at the end of the day, like, just be glad that this person's not in your life anymore. Like, I know the feeling when you're just like, you know, like, I didn't do a damn fucking thing in it, but you know, at the end of the day, like, I'm just so glad I don't have to deal with your fucking bullshit. So fine, block me, remove me. I don't want it either.
I wasn't going to shop on your Depop anyway. Madison, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. People who are in the wrong and know they're wrong will sometimes do that. They'll cut you off because they know that they want to beat you to the punch, and they're not capable emotionally of admitting their faults. And like that's them convincing themselves that you're the crazy one and that you're the toxic one when they are toxic. So it surprises me actually not at all that this happened to you. And it is frustrating when that happens because no one wants to feel wronged. And when you know, you're like, check the scoreboard. I'm not the bad one in this situation. I say take that as a gift. Take your Pinterest boards. They were from 2015 anyway. Like, I would just absolutely take it as a sign. And like, it's sometimes easy to ruminate, but I am telling you, the best revenge you can exact in life in any scenario is moving forward and living a happy life.
Mm-hmm.
You can, you know, burn the city down. You can, you know, throw a fit, you can involve a bunch of people, but none of that is going to change what the outcome has been. And all it's doing is emotionally draining you. Mm-hmm. So move on and be happy and be grateful that you now have space open in your life for new friends and investing in some friendships that maybe you haven't been investing in lately. And like, yeah, this girl obviously has issues. She sucks.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, don't give her a reason to hate you.
Keep your side of the street clean.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're not perfect people. I know people, I would assume that if I didn't know us, but keeping your side of the street clean is such a flex. Like, so this person doesn't have any reason to run to anyone else and say, you know, anything about you. So.
Hey, Ben. Yeah.
Shabana says, hi ladies, I'm a day one listener and you guys speak my thoughts often. I feel seen and attacked, LOL, at the same time. I just want to comment on something Dana said in today's episode about the derogatory use of the term cat lady. I'm 45, never been married, no kids, and am 2 blissful years out of a relationship with an emotionally abusive narcissist. I was applauded by society for having a boyfriend, but no one asked or cared if he was making me miserable. Today I have 6 cats and no roster, and when I tell you I've never been happier, I think we should rebrand cat ladies and give us a sexier term. Any ideas? I pride you both on finding happiness outside of romantic relationships and not settling just because of patriarchal societal norms and expectations. No, men are not okay. Love you, bye, Shabana. Okay, first of all, I fucking love you and I wish I could hug you. Thank you for backing me up on that point. It's the way in which that never even occurred to me until recently, that the people who try to make you feel bad about this, they don't care about the quality of it. They just want you to keep the system going. And also, I love watching those people cannibalize themselves because a lot of people happen to be childless cat ladies. So it's like I don't know. We do need to rebrand it, but I would need to think on it. Like pussy party. I don't know. Something like, I mean, cat pussy, we just don't know. I like the idea of just honestly keeping it as cat ladies and like taking the power back in the same way that I feel that way about slut and like bitch. Like some people may be bothered. I use those a lot, but those are terms of endearment for me.
Yeah, no, I there's definitely times where like you can use them in a derogatory sense, but like the majority of the time, most of the times I'm saying it, it's in a really like,
it's a term of endearment.
Yeah, for sure. The childless, when it's tacked onto that, it's like, ugh, get out of here. But just when someone's like, oh, cat lady, you're just going to be a cat lady. It's like, I think that's kind of witchy and haunting. And I'm going to, I think it's like bewitching.
My cat looks like I summoned her from something.
I know.
She's very spooky and I love it. Like I adore my cat, both living and from the great beyond. I don't know, the shame. Honestly, you know what's funny? When I got Leo, I was working with a really, really toxic, abusive surgeon at the time. And when I got the cat, he was like, no one will ever love you with a cat, blah, blah, blah. And I remember internalizing that and feeling such shame. And then I realized how much I loved myself and was like, I don't care. This is what I love and this is going to be a part of my life. So whoever's going to be in my life is going to also love the things that I love or at least tolerate them. And like, I just couldn't believe how much I let that man make me feel that way. And now I'm like, I don't hide that I have a cat. I love having a cat. It's great. Guess what? You know, I'm a childless cat lady. You know what that means? I get to sleep until 10 whenever I feel like it. So
yeah, I get to spend my money however I want.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty fucking powerful.
So if anyone else comes up with a good term though,
we'll think on it and we'll report back on some ideas. Okay.
But we do love that. And I'm proud of you. Good for you for doing the same thing.
Okay. We have got one more. Anonymous says, girls, you tell it straight and I am in need of an outsider's opinion. You guys don't fuck around when it comes to being blunt, so give it to me hard and fast.
That's what she said.
My partner, male, it shouldn't make a difference what gender they are, but it does because I'm female and I'm concerned that this is a tale as old as time scenario that I'm just not seeing straight because I'm too deep. I love him. He loves me. We've been together for 6 years, going on 7 this December. Love is always in the details, right? And that's not some bullshit romanticized version of love. In my opinion and experience, I do believe that is what love is and how it's shown. I don't need flowers. I buy them for myself every week. Nice. And in all fairness, every now and again, he buys them for me too. He's sweet and kind and generous. And we are fucking broke. So the kind of generosity we both bring to the relationship goes far beyond gifts. And that's not even sexual. Sweetness behind both of our generosity that I admire about our relationship. But we're not having sex. It's been 3 months. And before that, it was very few and far between. We talked about it. We don't have the means to talk to a therapist about it. So when we have chatted about it, which is numerous times in the last 12 to 18 months, we have both said that we would equally make the effort, but the effort has not been equal at all. And ever, if I'm to be honest, the effort in every sense from the beginning of our relationship has always come down to me making the effort to see him. We did long distance for a year. He flew back once. I flew over to him countless times. And I never want to hang this over his head, but the pattern shows itself in ways on the daily. As women, I feel personally, we always take on more of the cleaning, caring, nurturing roles, etc. in a hetero relationship, although we shouldn't have to, but we fucking do. The last time we spoke about our lack of sex, I said, the ball is in your court this time because I have tried, and I have. I've tried. I have bought and worn the uncomfortable sexy numbers that feel like they're going to split you in two from the vag up. But I feel, and I guess I've always felt, that I make more of an effort than he does. I think I already know the advice you might give because it's the advice I give to my friends, but I think I just needed to write this all down in ink and send it off to someone so I don't keep running around in circles in my head. The catalyst for writing you gals was me needing to go to the hospital today, and he didn't assume that he should go with me. And I would have gone with him without a thought and would do it for anyone I'm close to, friends or family. To me, it's not something you think about, you just do. I live out of my home country and we live together. I said to the nurse on the phone, I'm scared and don't know what to do. And I was walking out of the apartment in London to go. He says, do you want me to come with you? And I said, I wouldn't have even asked. He chased me down the street, which was just so icky because who wants to live in a rom-com when you're sick?
Yeah.
Fucking no one. I want strong drugs, sleep, and someone to make me a cup of tea/wine. I'm not a complicated woman. What more can you do when you feel like you've tried everything? I want someone to want to come to the hospital with me. I really admire both of your personal stories because you don't put up with bullshit. As someone who doesn't want to put up with bullshit, whether it be from a stranger to a family member, I need another perspective as to why I feel I'm putting up with bullshit from someone who I've always seen a future with. Thanks, girlies. I know what you feel like. It's hard.
I think you do know what we're going to say, but
yeah,
you go right ahead.
I've been there because it feels like why would you ever have to ask somebody that should just do these things because they should want to, because they love you, because you're their person, because why would you not want to be there for somebody who needs you? You know, and I understand life gets fucking lifey and you got work and you got those things. So it's like, it's hard to drop things for people. But when someone's walking out of the place to go to the hospital because they're ill, like why the fuck you would let them go alone, you know? And then when like you're not having sex with someone and you lose that intimacy, like you're losing that connection to that person. And when someone's not making an effort to stay connected to you, like that's not always a good sign. And I've been there before and it's really hard to get that back. And one person cannot do it alone. When one person is fighting for a relationship and the other person isn't, it's not a good indication. I'm being real honest with you. It's just not, because you become resentful of that person. You become like, you feel like you are the only one working at it. And it just feels like, the emotional distance that happens there it becomes like irreparable in my opinion.
It's like that classic scene in The Breakup when Jennifer Aniston's like, I want you to want to do the dishes. And she's like, who wants to do the dishes? And it's like, the point is, of course, no one wants to do the dishes. It's not about what you want. It's about doing things that your partner wants you to do and be an active participant in the relationship. And let me tell you, inaction is very loud. So to me, I mean, we always say this, we can't make this decision before you, but it seems like you have multiple times now brought up, and I think it's great that you recognize that maybe therapy would be helpful, although you don't have means right now, but sometimes it's just not even that complicated. Like, I think that if I'm you and you really wanted to make sure you had left no stone unturned, I would say have one more conversation and be like, this is a pattern. This is what I see. It's obviously deeper rooted than sex. This hurt my feelings with the hospital thing. Like, these are a few examples that I can give you. I need to see some change, or this is just not a relationship I'm going to be able to continue with.
Yeah, I think sometimes you need to let that person know that like you are like
at the end of your rope.
You're at the end of the rope. Like you have a foot out the door. Like, but like you don't like to give up easy. Like, you know, you want to know that like you've done literally everything you could, and that person hasn't, but you want to give them opportunity to show that like you're dead fucking serious. And if they can't, then you also have to like stick to your word. You can't, cry wolf on that.
Yeah, don't
because
go
a
back
lot of times, I think, like with my ex, I don't think he ever thought I would leave.
Yeah.
So I think he thought just like he could just get by and just never like try to come to the table and show up for me. And I allowed that. It was my fault too. And I wasn't perfect either. But like I try really hard. I put in a lot of effort, and I just realized one day I'm like, it's just never gonna fucking happen. So I think because and you want to just be patient. You seem like a really fucking patient person, but like if this person isn't showing up today and you are asked them to.
You said, what more can I do when you feel like you've tried everything? You also don't even have to have that last final conversation. If you do feel like you have, and you know in your heart of hearts that it's not going to change and that's not enough for you, then yeah, it's time to make moves.
Yeah, because it seems like you have a lot to offer somebody, and you know how to be a caring person and a good partner to somebody. So give that to somebody who can give it back to you.
But in the future, we'll go to the hospital with you.
Yeah.
We'll come on over to London.
I'll make you some tea and wine.
I'll get the wine. Okay.
Okay,
well, I think that's it for today.
That'll do her.
Okay, love you, bye.
Love you, bye.
Babe, you're gonna see the power of women. Like, disrespectfully.